Welcome to the show. My name's Chris and I cover technology from an Australian perspective. Please. Alrighty, hello YouTube, and I'm just hoping that you can hear me. I've got a new sound set up, so it's a bit nerve-wracking. So I'll just turn comments back on. If someone could acknowledge something, that'll be really awesome. And I'd like to thank you all for joining me. We've got here Kevin. He comes all the way from America, over in Florida. So thanks for joining me, Kevin, really appreciate that. And I've got Jeff here as well. He's a local around me. I've met him, I think, a few times now. And you know significance, Jeff, don't you? Yes, you do. And got Ray here. Ray's one of my patrons. Thanks for joining me, Ray. Really do appreciate that. And got good old Grumpy. That's Nigel Farrier. He's the grumpy old man and his EV. He's got a great YouTube channel. Definitely check him out. I'll leave a link to him below. Now, it's loud, is it? We can hear you, great. And we've got Deb. Deb's also one of the YouTube members, so really do appreciate that as well. Thanks so much, guys. All right, so today we're going to be talking about a few different things, I guess. And we, need to be thinking about, I don't know, can Tesla be caught? Have a think about that. We've had the Tesla Investor Day. And this is one of the topics that I'll be talking about at Footy Charge Live. And it's going to be this weekend, and you can use the referral link down below. You can save yourself some money by using it. I think you get 5 or 10% off, something like that. I can't exactly remember, but yeah, use it if you haven't got yourself tickets already. But if you're going, awesome, great. I look forward to seeing you there, and it's going to be a fantastic event. I'll see if I can just share my screen with you, because I think there's going to be some awesome stuff that's going to be happening, at Fully Charged Live. And, hopefully you can see this now. I'm just going to check my second screen to see if it's coming up. A little bit of scroll to the very top here. And, yeah, just going to trick it over and do that. And let's see if it's doing it. I don't know, it's not very clear, is it? No, I don't think it's transitioned, so I'm going to stop sharing that one now. Let's go to that. All right, I think I might have done it now, folks. I think, yes, it's blurry, but it's there. Let me just increase this live on YouTube, because, these are the joys of doing live YouTube work. So now we can see that. Yes, we can. And look, it's a fantastic program. And I think we're really privileged and very lucky to be getting this in Australia. Like, not many cities of the world actually get this. And sure, it's in Sydney, but maybe next time I'll be in Melbourne, maybe next time I'll be in Brisbane, Perth, who knows? And it's got a lot of great content, both from the Fully Charged team, Australian content creators like Sam, aka the EV Viking, and it's got a massive trade exhibit. I'm really looking forward to being there, and I'll be covering it, and I hope to see you there as well, because again, this is going to be something that I think we'll all remember. So yeah, it'd be great to see you there, basically. That's all I'm saying. Anyway, if you haven't already, do consider subscribing. There's different ways that you can support the channel, either through Patreon or YouTube memberships, so do check them out. And if you are a regular watcher, please subscribe. It absolutely helps the channel, it really does. At the moment, I'm now at like 10,500 subscribers, so thanks so much to everyone who has subscribed so far, and it'd be great to continue the journey. And this week I'll be pumping out a lot of content from Fully Charged Live. The grumpy old EV man, Nigel, he'll be out there as well covering it. And if you see me around, come and say hi. I might look distracted or busy. I will be, but seriously, just come and say hi, because it'd be good to catch up with you. So we're going to be talking today about, I think, 3 different things. And the first one is about my impressions of the Tesla Investor Day. And for that, I'm going to be needing the assistance of a little bit of a slideshow that I'll put together for you. Doing live streams and video doesn't work very well. The broadcast quality isn't very good, so apologies. I normally like doing video-rich content, and this is definitely the exact opposite of what I prefer doing. Then we're going to be moving into a bit of a where we're at with the High Court case, and then at the very end, and mingled all the way through this, we'll talk about, I think, a few different things, like, for you, how do you make long distance trips in EVs, absolutely workable? That's one of the things I'll be talking about at the Fully Charged panel. And put your comments down below, and we'll get to them as we go. Yes, definitely. All right, so let me just prep up the slideshow, because it's going to hijack my screen and do that sort of thing. I can take these headphones off, and we'll get into it. Yeah, definitely. Okay, now then, let's get on to the next one. Yes. I'm just getting my slides all sorted out, so don't mind me. Yes. Okay. This is what happens. You have everything prepared, And then it's like, oh, yeah, you want to do that? Sure, you can do that. Talk amongst yourselves. You know what I'll do? I'll just put some comments on, and you know, there's Ray. You can sort of talk amongst yourself. What is that? A Jamboree. I have to get from Jamboree to Sydney. I don't know where Jamboree is. Anyway, I'll stop thinking about that for a second, and I'll start thinking about how to re-add my little thing, my screen share. There we go. All right, let's go. Hashtag awkward. We don't want that one. Excuse the silence, but you know, these are the joys of you know, doing live content. And let me see if I can pull it over. All right, we're there. All right, coming back here, and let's go turn your comment off there, Deb. Wollongong. Ah, gotcha. Good to know, good to know. H2 Rider is saying about, you know, when thinking about long trips, leave home 100%. Stop at a fast charger that has more than one and charge enough to get to the next one. Definitely. All very good salient points. Agreed, agreed. Now, I still am struggling to get this layer sorted out here, and if I can fix it, I will. Otherwise, we can just sort of talk, and you know, you can just imagine, imagine what I'm looking at here. So, all right, let's turn those comments off, and I don't want that one. Let's replace screen share. Yeah. All right. There is a way around this for me, but it's not ideal, and I really don't want to do it, and that is me putting it into like a preview mode, and that would just be disastrous, to be honest. So I'm trying not to do that one. So we've stopped that sharing. Yes, we have. I stopped the sharing. That's my, let's come back here. All right. Yeah, the joy, the joy. Okay. Okay, now, what do we want to do? We want to share. It's not letting me share it. It's very annoying. Replace. No, I don't want to do that. All right, let me just do this. I started putting this together, and it should be okay. It's just not going to be the best quality. Just getting it ready, folks. Talk amongst yourselves. I'll cut this bit out afterwards. It doesn't get cut out. No, sirree. No, 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 no. Alrighty. No, doesn't want to do that either. Okay, all right. We'll just have to talk then. Okay, so Tesla Day 2023. I'm gonna look at my notes. So just bear with me as I look off screen here. The 3-hour presentation basically, you know, has got some really good, awesome stuff, and there's also got some significant implications for the world And also some things that I think others are not talking about that we need to address, kind of the elephant in the room. And, Tesla's mission, written by Elon back in 2013, and to quote him, is to accelerate the advent of sustainable transport by bringing compelling mass market electric vehicles as soon as possible. But this last week, 5 days ago, it basically is transformed, and I think it's transformed into shifting the world to a sustainable energy economy by electrifying everything. Electrify everything. Vehicles, industry, homes, and more. And, they covered at a very high level, 9 domains. There was like this big circle thing. And within them, they had little subs, okay? So I'm not going to be going blow by blow through the presentation because that's just boring. And visuals would be helping right now. But nonetheless, it's about, for me, how to solve the energy problem. And this is what they were trying to say. And they, as a business, are well set to address the issues, right? So Tesla is first and foremost, an electric car company, but they're a tech company. So remember, they've got batteries, they've got battery storage, so stationary storage. They've got solar, they've got software development and AI, they've got robotics and so forth. They've got many different arms. And whilst a lot of this stuff was a swing, there was definitely some misses there, and I think some missed opportunities. So I'll talk you through them as we go. Now, basically, there was no new products, okay? If you haven't watched it, here's the summary line. There's no new products, okay? If you looked past previous announcements and things like that, you could know what was presented here. But this was more a vision statement and a reassurance to the investment market that they know how to get there. They've got the wherewithal and they can do it. And it's not going to be, praise to Tesla. Don't you know me? I'm not sure. I've got 3 shares. I've got a Tesla and I've got a Powerwall, but I still believe they are, they can do better. Okay, so just remember that. The next big thing that I felt this presentation, the 3-hour thing, it missed that. Here, one more thing. You remember what Steve Jobs used to do? And he would say, pull out his back of his pocket. This is the iPhone. It plays music. It's your phone. It's your web browser. There was none of that. And I was really hoping, and they did this, they did not talk about a brand new car. It's been premised and it was under some veils, and there's going to be a van or some sort of maybe robotaxi this year. They again were light on details, but nonetheless, there's that potential there for 2 new cars this year. Great. There's some other new stuff which I'll talk about later on as we go through. And essentially, they're talking about if the master plan is realized, the world will use half the amount of energy that it does right now. And how? They're going to be displacing fossil fuels and electrifying everything, thinking more efficiently, sustainability, recycling, and so forth. So for the second, because I really do want the visuals for this because it's going to help this presentation, I'm going to just turn over to the comments for a second, and let me just give me another minute just to try and troubleshoot this, because I think it'll be really worth the while that we have this working. Wasn't expecting new stuff. You leave that for release days, and don't kill off your current products. Great point, Gaffer. And this is a thing, there's a principle called the Osborne effect. It's named after a computer company who back in the 1980s announced the newer, better, amazing computer, next generation. And people were like, that one's better. It's cheaper. And this one's old technology, 2, 3, 4 years old. So I'm just going to wait for that next one. So you don't want to shoot yourself in the foot and say, hey, here's our brand new car, our new $25,000 car, and then everyone just sort of abandons your sales. That's definitely worthy of a point. Good point there, Gaffer. Thank you very much. But where are the white sheets? I don't know what that means, Scotty. I've lost the context from that one. Anyway, let me see if I can get this bass in, shall we? Because, it's a bit frustrating for you guys. I appreciate that, and hang with me here. What's an episode without me having some absolute nightmare when it comes to this. All right, let's see how I can do it. Nope. No. Super frustrating. It's so not going to let me do it, and I can't explain it. I really can't. Share. Let's try this one. Oh, might have done it. Might have done it. Hey, hey, hey! All right, please tell me. I'm just getting this fixed. I think it's fixed, folks. It was buried in a submenu. That's my fault. There we go. Oh my gosh, I can see it now. Hallelujah. Alrighty. Hey, hey, hey! We are there. Alrighty. Let me just rewind a bit. So we had Elon. Hey, Elon. That was the mission statement. The rings I spoke about. And then within that, you had, like, say, for instance, 6 sub-points. And here's a big plan. We're going to electrify everything. And here's how. 240 terawatt hours of energy. Renewable power, 30 terawatts. These are not big numbers, by the way. These are sort of numbers that we're doing now, just thought of differently. Okay, so let's get into some of the fun stuff. All right, so in the top right corner of your screen there was the potentially some new power walls and a mega power pack potentially coming this year. I think it's going to be a mega power pack. It's obviously not to scale, but there was a talk in there around the mega pack, so that's awesome and all, and be good to see that, because the current Powerwall is more than 2016, so it's 6-7 years old. So it'd be good to see an updated version of that one. And the amazing takeaway from this was how that, if we boost renewables, I can say that more clearly, and reduce fossil fuel use by 35%. That's going to take obviously like 30 terawatts of clean energy and that 240 terawatt hours of storage. And Tesla's got the mega packs and power walls, okay, and they can expand into that business. This is their business. They they can support the grid, and they already are, and they're doing it quite well. And excitingly, during question time, Elon confirmed that in the next few years, Tesla will support bidirectional charging from your Tesla to your Powerwall. He didn't say to the grid, didn't say to your home. He just spoke to it as in the Powerwall. Now, he noted that doing bidirectional charging is extremely inconvenient. Now, that to me, I'd have to disagree with. And as you'll learn, and they say it themselves later on, that most cars are only used for a few hours a day and just sit there for the majority of the time doing nothing. So why not plug them in and power your home, or the grid, or your battery? It's all about that decentralized power. And car batteries, they're huge. They're normally at least 3-4 times the size of a Powerwall, and actually generally more cheaper when you think about it. So it'd be good to see bidirectional charging, but it's coming in a few years, and it sounds like it's going to be a hardware thing. So it's not going to be a retro feature that will be added to existing cars. Unfortunately, I think it's going to be something moving forward that that will come to Teslas. So good on them. Good on them. All right. Next up, getting into some of the remarkable things that was disclosed in the event was how Tesla is well placed at the forefront of all tech companies to answer the call on making everything electric, and how we have as a society, as Earth, we have everything we need right now everything we need right now to power the world. For instance, Elon noted that energy from the sun provides 1 gigawatt of power per square kilometre. Okay, that doesn't sound terribly exciting, but it absolutely is. Put it like this, all right? On a map of the world, see a little tiny dot on the center of your screen somewhere in like Pan Asia? That's all the space you need. So we're not going to be displacing agriculture. We're not going to be putting out farmers, grazers, so on and so forth. No, you build it where the sun shines, the wind blows, and where rain can be collected. Because, yeah, we have water reserves for drinking, and it doesn't rain every day, does it? No. And obviously, we all know the cries. We all know the cries. How much will this cost? How can we afford it? And the answer is quite simple. It's $10 trillion, okay? Which is not an insurmountable bit of money. I completely get that. But that's only roughly 10% of world GDP in today's dollars. So $10 trillion is only 10% of GDP. And then thought of differently, that's not $14 trillion over a 20-year investment period into sustainable energy. So instead of putting money into fossil fuels, that's the left-hand column, the 14 trillion column, we only need to invest into renewables at 10 trillion. And that's because they are so much more efficient at actually collecting energy, doing it cheaply, and delivering it better. So moreover, that if we think about it and we're smart about it, we can actually dig up less. And this was an amazing chart. It's hard to see on your screens, and I appreciate that. Each one of these trucks represents a gigaton, okay? And we don't need to be mining more. We don't need to look for more minerals. Well, we do, but we don't have to do as much. And that we can do it sustainably. And that just 4 gigatons compared to 18 for fossil fuels, think of that difference. More than 4 times less is required out of earth or materials to actually power our world. And they'll be providing our world with clean energy and, importantly, require half the energy that we do today. And that's thinking about, again, using energy wisely and smartly, and not just doing what we do right now and wasting it through heat and other methods that don't actually add anything to the particular, world. Okay, it just adds heat, it adds CO2, the usual stuff. And to paraphrase Elon, we can convert Earth to sustainable energy, and there's a clear path that doesn't require the destruction of things. And we have an abundance, and we can do it today. And there's no insurmountable challenges. They're mostly his words, and I completely agree with it. Like, of all my readings, there's plenty of literature out there to support this. So I love that they've done this, and I do wish that people would take some learnings away from it. Now, moving on to electrifying transport. And obviously over here, well, the big number in the center is actually pretty damn important. Globally, Tesla is hoping to get out 20 million vehicles per year. That's staggering. That is more than double what the largest car maker does right now. Toyota, excuse me. They put out about 9 million vehicles a year. VW, not far behind, about 8 million. Tesla hopes to do about 20 million with a fleet of no more than about 10 or so cars. In the question and answer section of the talk, Elon and the team criticise other car makers for having too many variants, too wide a breadth of offering. But I don't know. I got to agree that there's got to be choice in the market, and having limited options actually limits your sales potential, which is why Toyota has so many cars and sells so many vehicles. Is that because, the legacy and people trust the brand and they buy them for some reason? Some damn reason. I don't know why people buy them. If you drive a Toyota right now, apologies. I don't mean anything against you. Just, I think there's got to be some sort of, future expansion of this offering of the vehicles. And, in the near future, 20 million vehicles a year, of which there's going to be 300 million either robo-taxis or vans. Hard to tell. It's under vans right now. And we've got the 700 million of what's going to be the cheaper, more affordable, made in Mexico Tesla. And it's going to be cheaper and more affordable for the following reasons as we go through this, okay? So I think that there's some amazing stuff going on here. And if we think about, obviously, something Tesla does really well is electrification. No doubt, they are the best in the market, and it's going to be hard for others to catch them, okay? And Elon cited that an electric car is 4 times more efficient than a petrol or diesel variety. We all know this. And the amount of energy it takes to make one slice of bread, like to toast it, you can move a Tesla a mile. So the difference, quantify that. One bit of toast, same energy, 30 grams, or same energy, moving something like a car a mile, like 2 tons, a mile. It's amazing. Now, I'm going to guess that, be curious to see when this worldwide new affordable car comes out, but it's going to be realized through, I think, these savings in all the manufacturing processes and so forth. So we'll get to that now. The cars are going to be shifting over to a 12 volt, from 12 volt to 48 volt architecture systems, meaning 75% less copper is used. And that will obviously save on precious materials and also reduce car weight and make it more energy efficient. So that's going to mean for you and me, more range from the same size battery pack. Disappointingly, they didn't talk about new products for aviation or shipping. And I think that there's a bit of a miss here because, you know what? Companies like Hyundai, Samsung, Mitsubishi, name your car company, our tech company, they all put out offerings in this space. And if they can replicate that, if they can become the next Rolls-Royce of electric motors for aviation, they so should be doing this. And this is what I was saying before around that one more thing. If they offer something brand new to market in a segment they don't currently fulfill, that would have been the icing on the cake for this presentation. And I think that in future launches, in future product launches, just like what Gap has said, we'll definitely see something in the space. I hope, this is my hope, but again, remember, Tesla's a tech company and they can definitely have got the wherewithal to do it. So part of the presentation hinted at some cool stuff, such as wireless charging. That's the little picture on the right there. You can see the pad sitting under the Tesla, the red Tesla. As well as what might be, I think, a cafe lounge location, maybe for Tesla owners to enjoy when they're getting some energy, like at a rapid, supercharger. They also detailed how they're adapting the Tesla plug in the US, which I've seen a video of. It's quite fascinating how it works. And in Europe, they're actually making the cables longer so that they're accommodating more cars for the vehicles who aren't Tesla branded, obviously. So they're opening up the supercharger network, and they're doing so by, making the cables longer because they're quite short and not all charge ports are located in that C pillar. They want to encourage more AC charging in the community. Now, recalling earlier what I was saying around how Elon was a bit, he's kind of poo-pooing all over bidirectional charging. This is one of the slides from the presentation, and is a picture of San Francisco and cars just sitting around, not supporting the grid during peak renewable energy periods. Now, rewind earlier, right? My point about how cars just sit around all day. It's weird that he said, that about vehicle to grid technology, which would be inconvenient. But isn't this convenient? We've got cars sitting around ready to absorb the excess energy. And then the flip side to that is that at nighttime, they're ready to power homes, to power the grid. And why not use that? I think he's just seeing there's no problem here. There's actually a lot of benefits from it. And I like to see them actually get bidirectional charging into Teslas a lot sooner. Anyway, they also plan on expanding their electricity products like what they're doing in Texas. Now, this would be exciting if we could get this in Australia. Because they've got a lot of wind over there, you can join this Tesla energy plan, and doing so, you get unlimited overnight home charging for your EV. Imagine that. The running costs of your car are already cheap going electric, and taking this to the next level, that's just a game changer. And then finally, there's the usual stuff here around Tesla full self-driving, and how it's still in development, and how they're quite clever at it, and they definitely are. Sort of absolute leaders in the space. There's still no word on Australia, unfortunately, and we'll have to learn, in the future when that might be. But right now, we're all left in the dark, aren't we? The bot made its return once again, and this time it was kind of a bit of a fanciful video, which people are thinking was probably pre-programmed, which is fine because Boston Dynamics do that. And the robot was actually shown either repairing or assembling itself. You take whichever way you want to. And there's some significant implications here, which I'll talk to later on. But nonetheless, it was amazing. It was terrifying, and the future looks great. But also, I think it's going to leave us all a little poorer. Now, across all these presentations by various designers, engineer leads, and software specialists, they talked about how Tesla is relentlessly working on improving things, which is great for consumers. It's great for business. It's great for the world. And look, Tesla iterate, they refine, they eliminate, they improve all the time. And remembering, this is an investor talk. So you want to reassure shareholders that as a company, they're doing everything possible to reduce costs, improve margins, maximize profits. So by doing just some of these things detailed in their presentation, they can reduce cost of goods sold by 50%. Now, that's how they're going to be getting a cheaper, more affordable car out to the masses. And they absolutely need to do this, and it's great. They're going to be reducing factory floor space by 50%. Again, just because they're so clever at the manufacturing. And there was a great presentation about how they've refined stuff over time through automation, through use of robotics, and that's creating better products, and work that is tedious for people. It's actually even potentially dangerous for people, and they're making it better for everybody. And they talked at length how they improve vertical and horizontal integration to control costs and, again, improve product quality. And that's great because, again, it's a win-win. But it also comes at a cost that I think is important, and that is a reduction in labor hours. This graph, which is admittedly poorly labeled by Tesla, there's no axis here, so we don't know what the actual numbers are, but if you actually look up the quarterlies, you could probably work it out. It's Model Y output, and it's going up leaps and bounds whilst the labor hours are decreasing. And that's been achieved through automation and robotics. Now, Tesla plans on making 20 million vehicles a year, and currently rolls a vehicle off its lines every 45 seconds. But if you've been paying attention to everything I've summarized in this video, they're doing this by replacing people, as demonstrated by this graph. So by way of example, they talked about how other car makers, not just them, they assemble cars in a pretty uniform stock standard method. And that they're going to try a newer way of thinking, and that's what they call an unbox method, where people work simultaneously on a vehicle in segments, and then those segments come together in this parallel serial assembly line, and through an unbox process, the car comes together at near the very end with very little downtime. That's basically waste. That's waste. Time is energy, time is money, so that's waste. You don't want to not be using it. And it's going to be very clever, and no doubt they will achieve this. I have no doubt. And again, I don't care about the share market, but its reaction to it is very short-sighted. They should be looking at Tesla and be thinking, oh my gosh, what is Toyota doing? What is Honda doing? They can't do this. Well, they might, but they're going to copy them, and it's going to be years later. But This is going to come on the background of people being replaced by robots. And as you know, one of the earliest slides in the presentation was how they started, about the heat pumps. And now where they're at is fully automated. That's how they can decrease the floor footprint of these factories. And it's improving output. They can push one of these off every 7 seconds now. And it probably makes it cheaper. Definitely. We're seeing the cost of these things come down. But just, it's sort of, I'm seeing a theme here, and this is not just from Tesla, that people are being replaced. And I'm a tech person, don't get me wrong, and there's merits here and there's good things, but there's also negatives. People are being replaced, and where in the past you used to have, say, 4 checkout people at a supermarket, you now have 1. In fulfillment centers, you have robots doing the collection and picking. In our ports, we've got robots. These are actual robots, autonomous, doing the ferrying of traffic around the port, so that things move quickly and safely, which is sensational, and that's what we need. But it's coming, I think, at the expense of people, and not everyone can be a service technician, not everyone can be an engineer, not everyone can be a whatever you want a new job title, because in the past we've always said there's going to be jobs for people. And Elon even said himself in the presentation that he can't imagine this new world where there's an android, a humanoid robot, and it's going to be at, I think he said, either one-on-one, like 1-to-1, or even greater. So there's to say, for every person in the world, there might be a robot, and there's going to be another robot, and they're going to service our needs. They're going to be doing the jobs. And he said himself, he can't imagine the economy when this happens. And so as I was amazed by this, and I think that Tesla has shown the world that, you know what, if you're not already, you need to be thinking about this. And I'm hoping that Tesla's already doing the groundwork, thinking about shipping, getting electrification into that. They spoke very briefly about you can't just go plonk an electric drivetrain into a ship. You need to be a lot more nuanced than that. Get into aviation. Come on, Tesla, you can do it. I think they should be expanding the product line. But here, these are all things that I think are my main takeaways, and I'd like to know your thoughts. Like, what do you think? Was some of this stuff resonating with you? And how are we going to be in the future? I did a tweet the other day that universal income, and Elon's spoken about this before, probably needs to be a thing, because it'd be awesome. I'm a Star Trekkie, and I like the idea that you can choose to work, you not choose to work. It doesn't matter. You can do what you need to do. Anyway, so what we got here? We've got Lindsay Brown. How will all the people do work in a lot of industries that will reduce? And we're getting to that tipping point with, definitely limited work availability. And, I'm in health. That's my background, right? That's my training, and this stuff is my serious side hobby. And, we have robots now who actually assist surgeons, and they can do so and remove tremors. They can actually help do very slight movements way better than a surgeon's hand can. The surgeon, mind you, is still actually manipulating it and positioning it and getting things and telling it, I want to go here. But then it's doing a bit of filtering. It's removing the extraneous, the things that could be damaging. And it's not too long before we see in that sort of field, maybe surgical assistants, say, replaced by robots. And then it's just going to slowly see people moving out. And I wish I had a bit of a cartoon now, a meme about the last person to please turn off the lights and lock the door behind you, So there's got to be a definite conversation around that. I think Nige is saying here, more work will come in the renewable sector, definitely. We're seeing a lot of deployments of large-scale batteries that Tesla is supporting, and other makers are too, but we don't hear about them, do we? And I think it'd be great to see them expand that business line. Now, There's a Hollywood diner supercharger location. That's the, oh, is that, so that picture, the lady who did the presentation about supercharging, she just said, you know, hey, don't forget about the fun stuff. And there was that slide and then suddenly it was gone. And so I was like, oh, that'd be so awesome. Because I believe in Europe and in some parts of America, there are lounges. Just read a couch, some toilets and a vending machine that you can visit in Europe and America for when you're doing supercharging. But when I saw that, I got excited. I was like, yes, this is a business. I would set up there, you know, get some good coffee going, definitely. What else we got? We got here, Jeff, the recent inside video of the Shanghai factory was great to watch. Thanks, Jeff. I haven't seen it yet. I heard other people talking about that one. So, hey, we're going to get to that one. I'm just sort of reading quickly some of your questions here. And yeah, Munro, I've just watched a bit of this summary video that Munro Live did after the event. And he's just doing a sit down with another one of his employees, and they're going through a bit of a laundry list, just like I am with you. And yeah, he's saying that they figured out the car assembled in 2 hours, and the industry is actually at 10 hours. So yeah, that's it's pretty amazing. So yeah, look, I'll go back over these comments you put down below, and I'll respond to them, because there's definitely, I think, a lot of yeah, there's some stuff that needs to be addressed here. And you know, I've got questions, I've got concerns, but also I've got a lot of hope. And you know, Tesla is, yeah, showing once again it's probably the company to be watching. Alrighty, thinking about, well, other stuff we'll talk about later on. I'll be conscious of time, by the way. We'll do it just another 15 minutes or so, and then we'll wrap it up. How do you make long distance road trips a reality? And you know, before you know, someone said leave 100% full, you know, stop regularly. Have a plan B, I say. You know, ABCs always be charging. Have a plan B and a plan C. That's my other motto. That's definitely a thing to do. And you know, also, yeah, comment below, do you think that Tesla can be caught? I was thinking before this event that, you know what, they can be easily surpassed. And if you're thinking about on a sales perspective, they already are. Again, Toyota, VW, they've got a long way to go to catch up in that million, you know, 9 million space. BYD, conversely, electric vehicle sales in China this last year were just shy of Tesla, about 1.2 versus 1.4 million. And I think this next year we'll probably see that pass, and that's because they've got a lot cheaper offerings in China, so it's not same, but it is, because they're electric vehicles. So I'll be curious to see how this all works out. Alrighty, so up next we're going to talk a little bit about the High Court case. So let's get into that, shall we? Because as you know, I attended our hearing in February 14, Tuesday. Sweet Valentine's present, thank you very much. And over there was also Jeff, one of the viewers of the channel. So, hey Jeff, thanks for joining me tonight, and also coming to support the cause. So a lot of the questions I got when I was over there was that, okay, Chris, this is great, and you know, doing it for the earth and the world and the environment and our communities and all the benefits that come with that. And yeah, that's my reasoning. That's why I'm doing this. But the actual legal challenge in our High Court case was all about whether or not this is constitutional, whether or not Victoria and the other states could do it. So there's only two questions being asked here, and that is that is what Victoria doing here charging for kilometres travelled on an entity, on a good, something that you own? And we're saying yes, it is. And that because otherwise, how do you calculate that? You can't be charged a tax that it just comes out of thin air. Well, you can actually, can you? That's what governments do. But nonetheless, the background, the skeleton, the bones of this is that, you know, you do a kilometre in your electric vehicle or your plug-in hybrid vehicle, and you get charged at, you know, 2.6 cents or 2.1 cents. Okay, so that's the first thing that needs to be answered by the judges of the High Court. And the second bit is this considered an excise, a consumption charge? And I can just summarize the court case like this, and I was, I was benefiting here, and what I'm about to say is just my impression as a layperson, not someone who's a lawyer, not someone who's a barrister. And I was fortunate to be able to ask those questions when I didn't understand stuff, because let me tell you, everyone who you speak to about this, everyone's got their own opinion, and that's fine, that's great, that's the world we live in. That's do it. But at the end of the day, this is going to be decided by 7 judges. So we had the full High Court. We had about 30 barristers at the front of the room. Behind them, there was some lawyers. And then there was the gallery where and Kath were sitting. And it was remarkable to watch and very complicated. They were arguing law, the philosophy, the meaning of a law, okay? And just seeing them work their magic around previous laws and rulings, and how one actually might fit into another. So for instance, Har versus New South Wales, and that might be also interrelated into the capital duplicators versus the ACT. And the meaning of that and the finding of the judges in that case could be found in this other bit of law here. And so this is what the barristers do. They argue that based upon this, this, and this, we have our laws. And I think that I was really amazed by our team. Job well done to Ron and his associates. The Commonwealth did a great job too. And conversely, Victoria, Rowena, forget her last name, apologies. She was excellent. At one stage I thought to myself, gee, it'd be nice to have her on our team arguing this, because I just understood her so well, and she was very eloquent and made it so easy for me as a layperson to understand. But again, it's all very technical what they do. Anyway, so 3 days this went for, and we were for the first day. Then the Commonwealth went to the very end of the first day into the second day pretty much, and then Victoria started, and then Victoria went to the third day, and then the interveners, all the other states and territories, had their little say. And then after lunch they came back and they said, okay, because the Commonwealth hasn't had a chance to reply, because there's this timetable, they call it consent orders, there's this timetable that the Commonwealth came in quite late, and they didn't get an opportunity to reply to all the other cases, and that's an opportunity that they could be afforded, and they asked for that, and they were given that. So by the middle of this month, the Commonwealth has got a chance to put in further written submissions in support of their case, and then to sort of say, here's why, let's say Victoria's wrong, or here's why Queensland's wrong, because all those other states and territories have said, here's why we support this, here's why we think we're right, okay? Then from middle of March through to middle of April, Victoria has a right of reply to the Commonwealth submission, okay? So all the oral arguments are done. Nothing more can be said about this. There's no retrial. This is the High Court of Australia. This is the highest court of Australia. And they argued everything. Things that you and I might find very trivial, semantics. What is a charge? What is a tax? What is an excise? Things that we just think are givens, okay? And I can't say too much as being the plaintiff, but I can reflect upon what I've seen and what I experienced, but I can't sort of give you what I think it's going to go like, okay? So anywhere from mid-April onwards, the full High Court could deliver the verdict. And what will happen is that I'm pretty certain, we won't know it's going to be coming. And whenever the High Court sits, at the start of the day, they will announce previous decisions from previous cases. And one of the one of the reporters from ABC was there covering our case, but also she's a High Court reporter for the ABC, for the news station. And she has to, whenever they drop one of these things, because she doesn't know it's coming either, she then has to quickly run away, go look up all the research on it, and then do a report on it, because she has no forewarning of that. And so nor will we, I think. Pretty certain this is how it goes. So anyway, basically be on the lookout for the final decision from middle of April. And it's going to be, I think the significance of this is beyond the taxation of just Victoria. If you didn't know that already, I think hopefully you do. But the implications of this are large, and this is why the Commonwealth has intervened on our behalf. Okay, I myself, it's all around the benefits of the environment and our communities, better health and well-being, quieter streets, you name it. And this is just an impasse. This actually discourages people from getting into electric vehicles, and we know that. We know that. There's been a story this last 2 weeks now in the Driven, how people have had the cars deregistered because of a clunky administrative system. It's also discouraging people from buying electric vehicles. That was one of the things that came out of South Australia that was actually seen to be a deterrent to electric vehicle uptake. So it's a wrong legislation, it's poorly implemented, and we need to see it gone. And I look forward to the day that it is gone, but until that happens, we can't actually do much about it, can we? So I think that, let's have a look here. We've got Gaffer who's saying that I can't help but think that a distance tax has a disproportionate effect on country folk, and that'll affect tourism, where people thinking twice about travelling interstate. Absolutely. I do. Ray knows this. I don't like driving that much. I like driving, but not that much. But I do think about the fact that if I wanted to drive to Sydney for Fully Charged Live, or do around Australia like some awesome people do, it discourages me immensely because I've got to pay money back to Victoria, despite the fact I'm driving on roads outside of Victoria. Yeah? Have a look at the transcript on the first day. Second day. Look at the transcript on the second day. You can look it up yourself, and just look up toll road or tollway. All right, is posed by one of the judges asking Victoria to answer a bit of a question around that. I'll just point you in that direction. Go have a look and tell me what you think about the legislation. Okay, this is all open access stuff. I'm not passing judgment. I'm just saying the facts. There you go. And that's absolutely true, Gaffer, that there is no way that this could sensibly work for people who live away from even out of Melbourne, let's say, or out of metropolitan Sydney, wherever you might be. It's going to make people who live in those areas all the more poorer, and it's just very clunky. It's very clunky. We've got Grumpy. I'll start with this one because someone replied, Gaffer replied to that saying big tax equals dumb tax. Yes, absolutely. We do have to note that WA and Queensland and New South Wales do have this legislation ready to go. And they also want to do this same tax. This is why they're also at the High Court trying to help Victoria in their case. We just need to throw this out and think it better. And there's been some conversation around here about the hydrogen on roads, and that was part of also Elon mentioning how we don't need hydrogen for roads. We probably need it for shipping and maybe for aviation, probably long haul, but you don't need it for roads. And the Tesla semi-truck has actually demonstrated that, and other Volvo, Mercedes, they've got electric trucks as well, and they're doing it. So we all thought that we needed to go that way. Turns out we don't. So there you go. So yeah, it's going to be a fascinating time, and anytime from April, I'm going to be watching every day, listening out for a thing on the High Court case, and I do hope for the rest of Australia that this gets eliminated. So there you go. Let's just jump into, now I'm hoping this sound doesn't come through to you guys, by the way. Because if this sound's going to come through, I might get a bit of a, the whole video might get the sound taken out of it. And I'm going to be brave, I'm going to hit play, and we'll see how we go. This is the Kia EV9. It's going to be released, unveiled rather, middle of this month, in about a week from now. And,
Kia, movement that inspires.
What it actually really looks like in real life. There is a render that is very boxy. Another nice video once again is saying they love lights. They love lights.
Kia,
they love them.
movement that inspires.
Anyway, enough of that before I get any more either a copyright strike or what have you. So look, the fully charged live lineup is going to be bloody impressive, and Polestar's there and some other car makers, but unfortunately most are not there. And I think Gaffer today on Twitter, you did a great little list of people who are actually not going, including Tesla. And this supposedly, if you ask Robert Lewin, is quite the norm, that for the first time those car companies might send their media reps and execs down there just to see what it's like, what the vibe is like, and how that in the first one in the UK, how do you describe it? There was it was a collection of 35,000 Nissan Leaf owners complaining about their batteries. That's his words, not mine. But nonetheless, it got a great collection of people, and people bringing their own cars and their conversions and you name it. And just the people showing up for this made it so, just highlighted that the world is changing. And you guys, girls, whoever you may be, we're at the forefront of that, and we just need to encourage and spread the good word around this. So thank you very much. This is what we need to be doing. So look, it's coming up on the hour, and sorry for the technical issues I had at the front there, but thankfully we got that slideshow work in the end, so hopefully that made up for it. Again, if you haven't already, think I've got to get to the right side of the, the chart here, because it's there. Oh look, I've got to add text. I still need to work on this, don't I? I was planning on doing some live stuff from Sydney. I will, but man, I need to do some more rehearsals, don't I? But nonetheless, if you haven't already, do subscribe. Really do appreciate it. Check out my YouTube membership and Patreon. And thanks for all your comments. There's lots of stuff here. And I look forward to seeing you in Sydney. If you're up and fully charged live again, just tap me on the shoulder. Come say hi. Say your name though, because sometimes I've got a bad memory for names. But if you come up and say, "Hey, I'm Bob," I'll be like, "Hey, Bob." So thank you very much. I really do appreciate that. And otherwise, look, thanks for all the stuff, and I'll look forward to seeing you soon. Yeah, take care.